Cheers. Welcome back into the basement. First of all, I want to apologize. I haven't done a Homebrew Wednesday video in a couple weeks. It's been a while. I want to say at least a month, maybe even longer. And apologize for that. Really no excuse other than just had a ton of stuff going on the last several weeks. I don't know if I mentioned it to you in any of my other previous videos, but my wife is pregnant and we are expecting our second child. So we've been a little busy trying to get the house, together and get things organized for that. And you can probably see there's quite a mess behind me. I've been working on cleaning the basement, kind of getting my brew dungeon back together. And I've got a few things I want to talk about today, actually. First of which is I want to give a shout out to Nexia. I think I'm saying that right, but he actually we were going back and forth a little bit today on a post, and he was like, hey, when are you going to post up your next video? And I was really actually thinking about doing that anytime, and so I guess there's no time like the present. So I will say cheers and happy Homebrew Wednesday. This is my very first kegged beer. It's very good. It's a little I don't know if you'd call it a chill haze. I don't know much yet about kegging or the effects of kegging. I know I've heard Craig mention chill haze a couple times in some of his kegging videos, and basically, the beer is only 2 weeks, 3 weeks old right now at this point. It went right from the bucket into the keg. I'll talk a little bit first about my setup, and I'll actually bring you guys up there quick and let you take a look. I was able to find an amazing deal. I had been looking for a while on Craigslist, which is I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with it even around the world, but Craigslist, this place basically where you put things for sale, and I found a couple different kegerators that were more expensive than the one that I actually ended up getting, and I really think that I lucked out really good, because basically this one was one that it's actually, I've got the book right here. I printed out from online. It's a actually pre-made kegerator. Now, with the pre-made kegerators, you don't get as nice of components, but that's fine to start out with. And basically this one came with a 5-gallon keg, so I got a corny keg with it, which was awesome, because I mean those can go for 50, 60 bucks a pop around here. So I got a 5-gallon ball lock keg with it. It has the nice tap tower on it. It's got the adjustable temperature modular. It's been holding right about 37 degrees is where I've got it set to, and it's been like right on 37. So that's been awesome. And I replaced all the lines. I basically had to put in a new beer line. I took the I don't know what you call it, the draft or the faucet or the tap. I think it's a faucet, draft faucet. I took that all apart, cleaned it, sanitized it. I soaked it for a while. I actually had a friend that had given me an IPA, a local Smutty Nose IPA handle a while ago, almost 2 years ago probably, and I had that kind of sitting in a closet, so I got that out, put that on. I bought a new 5-foot line, installed that. The only thing the kegerator didn't come with was a CO2 tank and a regulator. And those can be kind of pricey, but I was able to find on Amazon actually a great deal on a CO2 tank, and I found a place locally that filled the tank for actually 15 bucks. It is a fire prevention or a fire protection company that actually fills fire extinguishers. So they filled the tank for me for 15 bucks. I didn't have to do a trade-in or anything, and I had a nice brand new tank, so that worked out awesome. And so that's the kegerator, and basically I was ready to go. I had a beer that I had brewed, this beer, this pale ale, which is very good, drinking very well right now, and this is only the 3rd pint. not holding much of a head at all, but there is some lacing on the glass, which is nice. And I am gonna have to do some research on how to get a better head and retain some head on there, but that's for the future. So I had this pale ale ready to go. I got the kegerator probably about 2 weeks ago. Took my time kind of taking it apart, cleaning it, getting it all ready to go, and started to clean and sanitize the keg this weekend, and kind of freaked out a little bit because when I had assembled the keg, I bought all new seals, put it all back together. I put some OxyClean into the keg and went to kind of shake it up to clean it, and it started leaking out of the lid, and I was like, oh no, I was worried that either the seals were bad, and I was kind of looking at the top of the keg and it looked like it was dinged up a little bit, and I thought, well, maybe the keg's no good. And I was kind of already in this process of all right, I'm kegging this beer, and I had waited a little extra time with it in the bucket in the fermenter because I knew I was going to keg it. And so I was like, well, geez, I can't let this wait any longer. It was over the weekend. I couldn't get to a keg shop. My homebrew shop was closed. So I said, you know what, I'm going to keg it anyways. I'm just going to go through the process. I had also read online about using keg lube around the top of the keg, and that would help, get a better seal. And I had also kind of in the back of my head thought, well, maybe when I pressurize it, that will kind of push everything out and expand things and create that seal. And after posting it up on 17 Brew Crew, that was kind of the consensus that came back was, their kegs, some of these other people that had posted, their kegs had done similar things when they clean them, and then once they pressurize it, it's fine. And they actually gave me the tip to take a spray bottle with Star San in it, or soapy water, and spray it all over the top of the keg and look for air bubbles and leaks. And that's one thing I haven't done, and I actually need to remember to get a spray bottle somewhere so that I can do that, and I can do that test and make sure I don't have a leak. Again, I filled the 5-pound CO2 tank for $15, so if I do have a leak and I end up wasting a tank of gas, it's not a huge financial setback. So that's good. So I went ahead and kegged the pale ale, and then basically did what I had seen in Craig Tube's videos. I basically watched the 4-part series on kegging from Craig maybe about 10 times over the weekend as I was doing this. And so what I did was Sunday night was when I kegged. I put 30 pounds of pressure on the beer, and then came home Monday, purged, turned the gas off, purged the tank, put 4 pounds of pressure on it, and pulled a pint. Wasn't quite there, so I said, all right, well, I'm gonna drop down to 20 psi. Put 20 pounds on it Monday night. Came home Tuesday night, did the same thing, pulled a pint, and it was better, but it wasn't quite there. So I said, well, I'm just going to stay at 20. So I consulted with my wife, and she said, yeah, just stay at 20. I was going to go to 10, put it down to 20, or put it back to 20 rather. Went overnight. Tonight, came home, purged it, turned the gas off, purged it, put the 4 pounds of serving pressure on there, which I've got to look into, the exact serving pressure that I should be using, but 4 pounds worked out great tonight. Put it on, poured a pint, and it's great. This is a tasty pint, and I'm excited, man. I've wanted to keg for the longest time, and I had really I think I mentioned in some of my videos prior that this summer was going to be the rebirth and the rededication of Sugarbrook Brewing to home brewing, and basically wanted to take the summer to kind of dumb it down, do a bunch of kits, and just get it right. And I've been doing all these kits and bottling, and these PET bottles are great. I enjoy them, but to be able to keg and have that thing up there and have the beer on tap and just walk over and pull one off there is awesome. It is awesome. And this is only my third pint and I'm ecstatic. So I encourage you guys, if you can, if you have the money, if you think you can afford it, or you've been thinking about it and you're just not quite ready, I mean, start assembling the pieces and the parts. One thing I will say is I was really worried when I first started playing around with the CO2 tank and the regulator and trying to get it all right. And within a night or two, I mean, I'm fine with it now. It's real easy. It's a simple process. One thing, you know, Craig says in his videos is just always turn off the gas before you do anything. You know, what's nice about the regulator I have, I'll show you up there, is it's got a little, it has a purge valve on it as well as having a shut-off valve for the line that goes into the keg. So you just turn that valve. You don't have to mess with the tank at all, turning the tank on and off all the time. You just hit that valve on the regulator itself, purge the tank, drop your pressure, open that valve back up, and you're good to go. So that's it. That's my you know, little story on the kegerator and my first kegging. Couple beers I've got in the works. I'm actually gonna start the planning process. My wife, as I mentioned before, is pregnant. She's due in October with a little boy. So I'm gonna have a son, and she has requested a pumpkin ale when she is ready to have a beer again. So I need to start looking into a pumpkin ale recipe. I'm probably going to buy a kit off of Northern Brewer or Midwest or one of the brew sites. I'll get a pumpkin kit, and with all those kits, I think you add the pumpkin to it. So it's depending on whether I'm going to use fresh pumpkin or canned pumpkin. I haven't decided yet. Probably just use canned pumpkin because it'll be a little bit more controllable as far as how much pumpkin I add. And then the other beer that I have, coincidentally, when I bought the kegerator, the guy, it's over there with some of my other brewing stuff, the guy actually gave me a kit that he had bought like a month ago, which was a Hefeweizen. It was a Brewer's Best Hefeweizen kit. And I actually just went and picked probably like 12 pounds of strawberries, or not strawberries, blueberries. So I'm going to do a blueberry Hefeweizen. So I'm going to start that planning as well. And the one thing that I don't have right now is a second keg. So I don't know how the timing's going to work out. Again, it's just me right now drinking the keg. But now that it's ready, I'll probably be having a few a night at least. But so we'll see. I've got to, you know, I don't want to brew the beer and have it sitting in the fermenter and then have to wait, you know, an extended period of time before I can keg it. So what I'd love to do is try and find a second keg so that I can brew the beer at leisure, get it into the keg, and if I have to let it sit down here in the basement in a nice cool space just to condition, you know, so be it. I mean, it's only going to help the beer. So we'll see. But let's, we're already at 14 minutes. I want to keep this kind of short. We'll talk about those beers, you know, now that I'm kind of back and I'm a little bit more organized here at home, and I've got some beers in the works, and things are kind of leveling out a little bit for me. I'm going to try and make some more videos, and at least get in on the Homebrew Wednesday every week and try and really stick to that. So even if it's a short, you know, 5-minute video, hey, I don't got much to say this week, that'll be it. But all right, so here we are up in the dining room. This is the kegerator that we were just talking about down in the brew dungeon. This is a Nostalgia electronics kegerator. It was purchased several years ago. I think he said it was like 3 or 4 years old, and basically, you know, I looked it up online. He paid close to 500 bucks, if not over 500 bucks when he bought this. And I got a smoking deal on Craigslist. This is the tap handle that I told you guys about downstairs. That's the Smutty Nose IPA tap handle that a friend of mine gave me as a gift. Must have been a year, maybe even longer, 2 years ago. And it's been waiting to properly be fitted to a kegerator, and now it is. Again, this is a pre-manufactured kegerator, so this is a professional built kegerator. It's got the tap tower, fully insulated tap tower. It's got just a standard faucet, which does the trick. I mean, there's really no need to upgrade that. I took it all apart. It was a little corroded inside, so I did soak it in hot water, cleaned it with some OxyClean, and then rinsed it really well, and then sanitized it as well. So kind of took my time taking the pieces and parts of this apart and making sure it was nice and clean. It's got the little drip tray there installed on the top of the tank, kind of custom, or not custom, but standard, I guess you could say. The front of this is actually curved, which is interesting. It is designed to hold a full half barrel, so you could buy a commercial keg from a distributor. And of course, I don't think your CO2 tank would fit in there with a half barrel, because the kegerator was sold originally with a 2.5 pound CO2 tank. I actually have a 5 pound tank. The gentleman that I bought the kegerator from actually had upgraded to a 5 pound tank and a nicer regulator. And he wanted to keep that because he was going to be getting into cidering and doing some other things, and he still had some use for that. So, like I said, downstairs in the dungeon, the kegerator came with the 5 gallon corny keg that you see here, which is awesome. I mean, those alone, I mean, you could pay, you know, 40, 50, 60 bucks. You know, I've seen them for 40 bucks, but they're gone that same day because it's a sought after item, and for 40 bucks you got to go get it that day or it's gone. It is a ball lock keg, which is awesome because that's obviously the preferred style and a little bit rarer to find. In the front there, you can actually see I've got a glass half full, 3/4 full of water with a thermometer in it, and that's a tip that I picked up from Craig Tube in one of his videos. That is a way to actually measure the temperature of your beer. So I'm sitting at 37 degrees, which I've read and seen online as being kind of the ideal temperature that you want your beer to be at. So that's a nice way to do that, other than having a thermometer just in here. This thermometer you see here actually reads much colder than 37 degrees, which is funny because you'd think the temperature inside is the temperature, but the liquid temperature is different. So it's actually kind of key if you've got a kegerator or you're going to be getting into it to kind of do that. It's a simple little thing, and it ensures your accuracy. In the back, as we kind of zoom in a little bit, you can see my 5 pound CO2 tank. That's a brand new tank that I got off of Amazon. I got a really good deal on that tank, and like I said downstairs, I found a local fire protection company that filled the tank for 15 bucks, which is excellent. It's a great price for the gas inside, and I didn't have to trade my tank in and get a beat up, you know, ugly looking tank back. Not that it matters, but it is nice to have a nice brand new tank and not have to give that up. And then if you look kind of right around the corner here, I'll move this beer line for you. You can see my regulator. Now you can really only see one of the gauges. The second gauge is kind of tucked behind the keg, and it's a little dark, but to the lower right you can actually see the valve that I was telling you about to purge
the regulator, and then here is the red gas line that goes to my keg, and there's a shutoff valve right on that regulator. So that regulator is actually really nice. What you can do is you can shut your gas off right at the regulator without having to mess with your tank. You can come up here, purge your tank, then go back to the regulator, dial in your serving pressure or your forced carbonation pressure, whatever you're trying to do, and then simply open up your valve again, and that gas will get fed to your tank. So it's just a nicer way. You don't have to keep turning on and off the tank and kind of messing with the tank, and just gives you a little bit more control over what you're doing. So again, this is the kegerator here. I'll back up and give you another little view of the inside there. This is kind of what it's all about. This is something I've been looking forward to for a long time, and have really kind of wanted to take that next step. Bottling is, as we all know, kind of a pain in the butt and cumbersome, but it is necessary to kind of get your feet wet and figure out if this is something you really want to do, and if you enjoy brewing and you want to take the next step, you know, the kegerator is really it. So I thank you guys. I'm going to spin the screen around here. Bear with me for a minute and get my beer here to cheers you guys for this Homebrew Wednesday video. And thank you for stopping by. I'll definitely be on soon. I'll talk to you guys next week about a couple beers that I've got in the works. My wife, as I said, has requested the pumpkin ale, so I'll be looking at some recipes for that. And I also want to do a blueberry Hefeweizen, so we'll talk about that a little bit as well. I'm going to probably log on to Beersmith in the next week before next Wednesday, and probably have some recipes that we can talk about and maybe share with you guys. I'll probably also post some stuff up on the 17 Brew Crew. So I want to again thank Nexia for calling me out and asking for another video. I'll definitely try and get back every Wednesday and give you guys a little quick update, even if it's just a little 5-minute video saying, hey, I don't got much this week, but we'll talk next week. So cheers and happy Homebrew Wednesday. Might as well finish it, right?